How's it going, Gumi Gang / Vaqueros, whatever you like to be called? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably still focused on the Lockwood 300 and the one-shot builds for it, which is totally fine. Go ahead, get it out of your system. I know it's got to be done. But today, I wanted to focus on the Haymaker because what you may not have realized is that this thing did, in fact, catch a nerf in one of the most recent patches. And essentially, it basically brought down the damage for the gun so it can no longer two-shot. So I want to reevaluate the Haymaker. I want to take a look at it, compare it to Dragon's Breath again, and see if maybe Dragon's Breath really is the way to go now for this shotgun. And then of course I'll share with you a class setup near the end, so if you want that class setup, make sure to look in the description below to go directly to that spot if that's all you want. And with all that being said, let's get right into it. So with that recent patch to the Haymaker, it essentially brought down its pellet damage from about 52, which is kind of insane, down to about 36, which is more in line with where it should be. Now what does that come out to on paper? Well, basically the new damage and ranges look like this. So as you can see, one interesting thing is, of course, we don't have a two-shot kill anymore. That's kind of a big womp womp moment, but the two-shot was pretty ridiculous. It was pretty strong. I could see why they removed that, so I'm not really complaining there. And as you can see, we have a 3, 4, and 5 shot. But what's interesting here too is that it looks like they kind of bled the last two ranges together. So essentially, you're getting a 5 shot consistently out from about 5 to about the 20-meter mark, like its final minimum damage range. It still seems like it's 5-shotting to me. I'm getting about 72 damage no matter where I shoot. So that's interesting. It's going to be consistent, but that time to kill, not super great at 6 meters. It's kind of a letdown because it's close to a second. A lot of guns are going to kill way quicker than you. Now, of course, the big upside here is 480 milliseconds is pretty damn nice for a time to kill up close. No, it's not as fast as 240 like it was, but this is still better than a lot of SMGs up close. And honestly, when I was using this thing without Dragon's Breath, I noticed it was a lot weaker. Like, it was substantially weaker than where it was, not just because of the damage, but because of the pellets and the spread and all that. It just, sometimes it doesn't quite work well with you, and you end up getting like 6 or 7 hit markers sometimes. You probably shouldn't be pushing range too much, but sometimes it just happens and you get caught with your pants down. This thing is much more in line with where the KV broadside is. The KV broadside and the Haymaker now feel very, very similar in the sense that they still have that kind of niche, very, very close range, really good supremacy there. But of course, after that, it just really doesn't shine. And the only thing going for it really is how easy it is to use. Other than that, it's like, why would you bother using this thing? So I'm okay with it though, because it still has some practicality. It's still fun to use and easy to use. It's just not going to be super overbearing. But now for the fun part, we're going to talk and reevaluate Dragon's Breath, because before I said don't bother with Dragon's Breath, not really worth it compared to the base gun. But now, if we look at all the updated stats I get and compare it to the regular gun, you'll see that it actually seems like the better way to go now. One big reason why is because your shots to kill for that 3-shot range extends out further than the base gun by about a meter. So that's actually really nice. And then past that, it's going to be a 5-shot. Now, the big downside is after 10 meters, it's going to take 7 shots at least. That's really bad. I mean, look at the time to kill. That's extremely bad. So even though with Dragon's Breath, you're going to be dealing a good amount of damage and you're going to get a good time to kill and good shots to kill up close, it's going to be much more punishing at range. But of course, in those ranges, you probably shouldn't be using a shotgun anyway. This is for really, really close range anyway. So in my opinion, Dragon's Breath is probably the way to go now. You get a better 3-shot range overall. You're going to be dealing burn damage. So sometimes you can get 4 shots in, go around cover, and the enemy will burn to death, which is kind of funny. So, in my opinion, this is the way to go. You're going to be a lot more worse at range, but up close, in my opinion, you are more deadly and your time to kill extends further than the base gun. So just rock Dragon's Breath from now on if you want to rock the Haymaker. As for my new updated sort of best class for this gun, without talking about slugs and anything like that, this is what I was able to come up with. And of course, shout out to the COD Community app. If you're not following me on there, go ahead and do it because it's totally worth it. You get to see a ton of creators and all their favorite loadouts, and I definitely have them posted there. And you get a sneak peek of what I'm about to post because usually I'll have it uploaded on there first and then you'll see the video about it. So with this particular build, we have the Imperator long barrel, which is great because it gives you such a good boost to your ranges, about 34%, without really hurting anything but your sprint to fire speed, and we'll make up for it in some other ways. And then I'm rocking the Crown Breaker choke because I tend to be a tack stance kind of guy with these things generally because you get such a clear sight picture, and this thing really helps with the spread for that. Then of course we're rocking Dragon's Breath, the 12-round mag, and we are rocking the no stock mod to get that mobility. As always, this class isn't necessarily a one size fits all, but you can kind of tweak it and kind of make it to where it fits your playstyle a little bit better if you want want. If you don't like rocking a big barrel, by the way, for some reason, you can try swapping it out for like the Bruin Bastion grip or some laser, or maybe even optic if that's really what suits you. Just know that this is a sort of general guideline for what I think you guys should be trying out. As for my overall thoughts on this gun now and after the nerfs, I feel like it's in a much better spot. It's not nearly as oppressive. That 2-shot was ridiculously strong. It was definitely a little overpowered. So I'm glad that they tuned that down. I do think the base gun got neutered a little much, but that's okay. It's not a huge deal. It's still really excelling where it should be, and Dragon's Breath is giving you a slight advantage over that base ammo, except when it comes to being at a further distance. So I'm okay with it. I feel like it's not a crazy amount better than the KV broadside now. They're still kind of very close together now, but this is slightly better just because of the ranges and the damage. But that's just my opinion. Now I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about this gun after the nerf? Do you think it's a pea shooter? Do you think Dragon's Breath is the way to go? And of course, I will be checking out slugs on these guns very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have some fun builds. So with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next shotgun video.